Hello. After the delays caused by cleaning up after the rats in the previous video, I can now get on with clearing the ground and preparing to build the raised beds.
This elephant garlic hasn't come up. Actually, I tell a fib. You can see just a little bit coming out through the mulch. It's very late coming out, whereas the other garlic is doing fine. This is all the stuff that I saved from last year's harvest, and the stuff in that bucket with weeds in is the green garlic. Those were the ones that were a bit dodgy. These were the ones that were okay. This is the garlic from Asda, and this is the thermodrome which I bought from the shop. Well, the job for today was supposed to be clearing this bed. I've cleared those two before and the weather's not been cooperating, so I've done other things, but now I can clear this bed. But before I did that, I decided to get some of the fresh chippings that arrived, because a load of this stuff arrived and it's fresh and dry, whereas the stuff that we've got has been sitting there all winter and it's all wet and heavy, whereas this is freshly cut, dry and light, and people have been rushing to get these. So I thought I'll get a few wheelbarrow loads of it before it disappears, because we don't know when we'll get any more chippings. So I put it in the middle of this bed where the tarp was. Now this is going to be a 3 metre by 3 metre rhubarb bed. I can build the bed around this wood chips, and then I can put the wood chips around it, so it's not going to be in the way as such.
I had to move the pots of horseradish because they were in the way, so I decided to harvest it.
I was trying to dig up this horseradish and I just couldn't pull it out, and I sort of dug some of the soil so that I could tip it over, and the ruddy thing is growing. It's got all that root in the ground, so I'll have to move it, and I think I'll move it over here. It's going to get a bit close to the privet hedge, but I'm going to put it on those bricks. This is where all the weed barrels are. There's some bricks that I was going to use to sort of level another barrel once I get it, but I think I'll put the horseradish on there at least. Hopefully once it gets to the bricks it will then just air prune itself. So the last thing I want is horseradish growing all over the place. Right, I think that's going to be that one. And another one, a 4 square ones. So let's see how much fit. Yep. Right. I'll level that later. That should stop those rooting into the ground. And just in case you're wondering what this bottle of water is, this is tap water. I just keep it around because during the winter our water is turned off, so I just keep that just in case we need clean water for something. Well, we've got rainwater, but in case we need clean tap water, we've got a little storage there. But I haven't had to use it, but you never know. I used to be a Boy Scout, so I try and be prepared for every eventuality.
I tipped out the container of horseradish onto some plastic so that I could fish out the roots from the soil. It's important not to let the contents of the pot mix with the ground, or bits of roots could get left behind and root in the ground.
Piece, nice big piece. Well, we're going to wash that. Okay, so I've returned all the soil that I put in the plastic. I've got a nice long piece like that, which is about twice the length of my finger, and it's got a little bit of green at the top, so you don't have to be too precise about horseradish. It'll grow, you can't kill it. This other stuff that I put it in the other pot. Just going to put this back in. You don't have to be too precise about timings with horseradish. You don't have to be too precise about the depth. So long as it gets enough water, then it'll be fine. It looks like I buried it, but that's okay. It'll be fine.
Horseradish is pretty hardy anyway, but I don't want the freshly planted root exposed to the elements.
Because we're still in the end of February, so we still get frost, so that little bit of soil on top will keep it protected. I'm wondering whether to put another piece in to another pot. Yes, I will do that. So we've got another lot. So what I'm going to do is plunk this bit of root in, cover it up. That's all it needs. And I'll put that on some bricks later, but I'm running out of time, so let's wash this and have a look at the horseradish. Just water these in. And it's handy that I've got a water barrel here. Right. Fish out the leaves. Okay. Okay, so that's a decent piece of horseradish. I'm not going to harvest the other one. I'm going to leave that one because I think this will be quite enough for me for this year. Sod's law. This morning I spent 2 hours grabbing chippings, thinking we don't know when we'll get another load, and look, another load has just arrived. But I've got enough for now, so cosmic joke that. I could have done something else and then done this, but you never know when the chippings arrive, so I had to take them when they were there. Another cosmic great joke on me. Yesterday I got distracted doing other jobs and I didn't get round to cleaning this bed, so I'll do that today. What I've got to do is move these bits of metal, and I'll probably move and sort those bits of metal, see what's what, make a note of the different lengths that I've got, so that when I come to building things I know what I've got. So that's going to be the first job. I've already been in and got a couple more wheelbarrows of wood chips from the stuff that arrived yesterday, so I've got a bit more, so I'll try and get this done. But believe it or not, I'm wearing short sleeves. I mean, I had to take my jumper off, it's so warm. Bees are out, the birds are out, as you can hear them. So yeah, it's a glorious day. You wouldn't think you were in February. I've sorted all the bits of metal over here, the side of the big compost bin. So that's one job done. And I made a note of the different size pieces that I've got, but it won't make sense to anybody else, but it'll make sense to me. Handwriting's a bit dodgy because it was windy and this was on a level surface over there, so it was a bit difficult to write. Now these beds were all cleared. I've cleared the beds, I've cleared the border. This was a right mess. The trouble is, this rose, I went as close as I dare to the roots to dig out the grass, but there's a lot of it stuck in there around the roots of the rose, and I didn't want to damage the roots of the plant, so what I've done is I've left it for now. I've done as much as I can. And it's difficult to get in because obviously the rose has got thorns and they're ungrateful so it keeps trying to rip my arm off. I made a mistake with this last year when I first got the plot. Well, I thought it was one rose, but it turned out it's several roses stuck together and it's all gone lanky and out of control. It really looks untidy, but to prune it properly and let it go bush out, it's difficult because of where it is. It would be over the paths and into the other beds if I let it get bushy, so I have to move it, there's no choice. But where I want it moved isn't ready yet, so it'll have to sit here for a bit longer, and then I'll move them and then they can have a bit more space. But the rest are done. This bed, well, it was cleared, and then I put stuff here and put the tarp over it, and then I've cleared that stuff out and put the wood chips in. But once those beds are built, and this wood chip will go over there between the paths and around the borders and along that path and along here, and that'll be gone, and then I can sort this bed out, and then I will be done up to that compost bin.
The beds are going to be made from these floorboards and square drain pipes.
I'm using these bolts to hold the bed together. They're just cheap bolts, they aren't that expensive. So I've got plenty there to make the beds.
Things are progressing well, and in the next video I'll be able to start building raised beds from floorboards and drain pipes. So goodbye for now, and come back soon.